It's Crystal Beast time! Wait, now it's Crystal Beast time, which means we're gonna combo off, play through everything, lock out the opponent, and swing for 11,000 damage. Wait, I look like a professor. What is this, Duel Academy? Today, we're embracing the darkness, but this isn't your average everyday darkness. This is advanced darkness. The original Crystal Beast monsters were useless, even by GX standards. That was intentional, as they're meant to be thrown around as fuel for their spells, but it was certainly a wasted design space. The long-awaited Advanced Crystal Beasts were expected to modernize the deck by giving us monsters that actually do something. Some of them delivered. Advanced Sapphire gains the crucial ability to recover from banishment, but loses the ability to place the one crystal that actually does get banished. They also force you to play a field spell which does almost nothing. The big payoff is Advanced Ruby, which has Ruby's anime effect of summoning itself from the back row on command, plus all your other advanced crystals, no spells required. Also, in practice, opponents typically won't target Advanced Dark if everything else you're playing is a more immediate threat. Today I'm building upon my Crystal Beast series with another guide/profile/comedy routine, breaking down what I've found to be the best way to play Advanced Crystal Beast, which may not be what you expect. I've linked to all the cards mentioned in this video in the description, so you can read what they do, and I will tell you all about how to play them and why, and how to build your own version of what may be my preferred Crystal Beast strategy these days, especially since those of us playing the TCG have recently lost someone dear to us. We were supposed to be happy together. You and me and the Rainbow Ruins. You negating all the monsters, Ruins negating all the spells and traps, then one list, in the blink of an eye. I mean, yeah, I still have counter traps and floodgates, but am I really asserting my dominance if I don't open with 10 negates every time? This deck got what's become my usual win rate of 80% at locals and 63% at bigger tournaments. Probably the best I could expect from an experimental deck and no practice. I've said before that playing weird cards is a strategic advantage because you can bait your opponent into negating the wrong cards. Well, advanced crystals are so weird that literally no opponent has understood what they do, to the extent that I can't fake out my opponents anymore. They are just negating everything completely at random, for better or for worse. You're probably thinking of Jesse Cotton's Turbo deck, in which the advanced crystals were used as an engine for extra summons. I have voiced my opinions on that strategy. It was more likely to open with Overdrive, but less likely to do much else. A questionable trade-off back then, non-viable today. If you leave Overdrive on the field, you will lose it to Typhon. Advanced Turbo also struggles to make good use of Overdrive, because resetting the field means losing Advanced Dark, and therefore any advanced crystals you're summoning. You may not reach 8,000 damage anymore. Most duelists abandoned them after we got Golden Rule because the instant Ruby Swarm reduces the need for Advanced Ruby's extra summons. Despite my criticism of the deck list in that video, I've actually continued to test these basic plus advanced blends, at higher ratios with duplicates so it's less likely to brick. But I was never satisfied because with Golden Rule, when Advanced Crystal Beasts go off, they're too good. They're literally too good. We don't have enough space on the board for all these cards. When basic crystals can already make fields like this, when there's literally nothing more we can put in play, there's little point in sacrificing versatility and consistency to get here. In fact, in my advanced blends, I'd often arrive at this same outcome without ever activating Advanced Ruby, because there was never a need for it, or zones for it. Also, because of the 7 crystal requirement on Rainbow Dragon, you can actually be punished for getting too many crystals. The last time I did this, honestly, the point of the advanced crystals was to fluff up the deck so I could side them out and side in a Tistina engine for going second. Divine Domain Tistina works with our field searchers and efficiently forces the opponent to use at least one response on something other than my main engine. It also produces link materials for Saryuja. The downside is that I'd lose even more space, needing to side in some basic crystals to get back up to 7 colors. Try this as a board breaker against decks that make big fields with destructive removal, like those fire piles. The Domain is a 1-card OTK, but it's unlikely and just unnecessary if the Crystal God and Crystal Beasts are already going off. But if you want to try a bigger Tistina engine, go ahead and play around with it. Aside from padding the deck for cheeky smoke screens, I can find no justification for these advanced turbo blends after Golden Rule. They were already inferior before Golden Rule. Although, Golden Rule is actually stronger with Advanced. It gives a new way to place Rainbow, which has been a sore spot for Advanced Sapphire
Sapphire, who you want to prioritize for its advanced synergy. And thanks to Advanced Ruby, Golden Rule allows you to make plays without needing any other spells or any specific monster. Not always a Link 4 setup, but tragically that's not as important anymore. I assume you're familiar with the usual Crystal Beast staples: Bridge, Heart, Bond, Awakening, Golden Rule, Crystal Miracle, and Sapphire and Rainbow. We're keeping those. Now here's where you're gonna think I'm crazy, unless you are a returning subscriber who already knows that I'm crazy. We consider Advanced Crystal Beasts to be a turbo engine, and as a turbo engine, they are outclassed in these many ways. I'm not interested in building turbo but worse, which means it's time to consider what only Advanced Crystal Beasts can do: Advanced Control!
Hold up, you radical youth! An Advanced Control deck wouldn't be able to use field magic like Necro Valley, the best field spell of them all. I would know. I was your age when they built the pyramids. What is a Synchro Summon?
Okay, yeah, we do lose Necro Valley, but we gain some key advantages over a basic control or combo control build. Even in this current environment where Necro Valley is a game winner, I'm still not quite sure which version is the best. It's a close race, so be sure to check your voter registration. It only takes 30 seconds to make sure that you will have a say in what deck gets built. If your matchups are not improving, you can vote the bad cards out. First, and most obviously, you gain access to better Crystal Beast monsters, making it easier to justify running 7 so you can summon Rainbow Dragon. I recommend running 7 in any control build. It's a small investment, and in return, you get to summon an instant win button when you otherwise would have exhausted your resources in a grind and have no clear route to victory. It's made a huge difference for me, at least.
Ah yes, the 7 colors of the rainbow. Red, red, orange, blue, blue, indigo, and rainbow.
For those strict control plays, you can now build resources under Baguska. This was a frequent difficulty for me with basic control builds, as Baguska negating Sapphire's effect means I can't recover the crystals that I'm spending on Heart and Miracle. I would have to waste a turn searching for Bond just to refuel. Advanced Ruby can awaken itself and anyone else down there, allowing you to destroy him as much as you want, even when it's nap time. The perfect bottom.
Did you know that in terms of...
Oh, and our counter trap, Crystal Miracle, has a bonus effect in the graveyard that gets you another crystal. You can trigger this off the destruction from a Heart Search or even another Miracle. These 3 cards form a resource loop that lets you use Miracle and Heart every round while gathering more crystals, all under Baguska, and then you go overdrive. Try this too. Crash Ruby, using Advanced Dark to block the battle damage. Miracle will trigger, getting you another crystal. Place an Advanced Sapphire, use Ruby to summon these up, and you get another crystal. You've now turned 1 color into 4. You also gain access to Evil Swarm Nightmare as an alternate rank 4 Floodgate, which won't impede your field at all and doesn't lose to SP. If you want a one-hit win and pseudo board wipe without overdrive, you also get Raider's Wing into Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon. The stronger Xyz toolbox is extra relevant because Golden Rule makes your control strategy primal proof. If you've seen my guide for Thunder Dragon Colossus, then you already know this 1-card SP plus Colossus play. I did not recommend it because putting SP in the extra zone cuts off your bigger plays, but now, life is different now, and we need to look forward. Like most insufferably competitive duelists, my life revolves around Nibiru the Primal Being, how to negate it or how to bait it. Both have become significantly more difficult due to recent events. With no threat of getting blocked by a sudden Apollo, opponents can now safely wait until the end of your turn to drop their rock. If your deck is not lucky enough to synergize with negation, then your next best option is to dodge that rock! We're working on the pitch, NBC.
Fetch me the SP proxy! Surely this joke will never get old.
SP is actually down to just $50 now, and it's the budget option now, which you know is the real reason why they banned Apollo 3 months after her cheap reprint, just like Barone and Savage. Anyway, in the combo, this is your 5th summon. If the opponent is waiting to drop the rock, then you can trade up to Colossus, and whenever they do eventually drop it, SP phases them both out of harm's way. Or if your opponent does drop it before Colossus, whether to phase out to keep SP is up to you. If these are the only monsters in play, then the rock will not resolve, staying in the opponent's hand to threaten your next turn. So you'd need to set some traps and play defensively for a while. Either way, you can now follow up with Golden Rule and make whatever Xyz floodgates you want. Gold plus either Sapphire gets you at least 4 summons. And again, if they waited to drop the rock, you are surviving with at least these two. By the way, with Infernity Launcher, Emergency Teleport, and Brilliant Fusion, you've got normal summons to spare. So if you anticipate having a spare normal summon later in your turn, use Advanced Cobalt to bounce an Advanced Sapphire to your hand so you can normal summon it back to the field and get another crystal. So let's say you have Heart or a way to search for it. We're gonna play through our Golden Rule here, bring out Sapphire, crystallize something else, use the Ruby to move things up, Advanced Sapphire gets us another crystal. We can use Advanced Cobalt to bounce the Advanced Sapphire, go for whatever rank 4 we want, maybe it's Abyss Dweller. We've got plenty of fuel here to use Rainbow Bridge of the Heart to destroy this, that's gone. We get a Miracle, so now we've got a counter trap to protect all of this, and even if the opponent does drop a rock, well, we can warp these out. This goes, we still have that normal summon to spare to get Sapphire and more crystals. So even after an extinction event that wipes out all of your crystals, you can still guarantee that you have a monster to pop with Miracle, which will also trigger Rainbow Bridge of the Heart to bounce. Any Crystal Beast deck can do the SP and Colossus play, but only Advanced Crystal Beasts will be able to recover if that board is broken, thanks to Advanced Ruby's built-in revival, and this wonderful combo which will let you use the Search and the Negation every round. This is what makes Advanced Crystal Beast the superior control strategy. So yeah, Golden Rule, that combo card, is also quite a potent defensive utility. This does mean that SP is a big part of what makes Advanced worth running, a card that is 5 times the price of the rest of the deck. Which makes this a Master Duel video, so on that note, we're gonna add 2 copies of Max C. I'm not running a third Max C because, as I said in my deck building video, I only own 2 copies. You can get more copies of Max C in Speed Duel Battle City Finals. Speed Duel, literally the most fun you will ever have playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Sponsor me, Konami. You need better outreach. Where is your marketing plan? Side note, you should run at least 2 copies of Advanced Dark. You'll want 3 if Kashtara and Runic are popular. Max out Cobalt because it's one of the best draws. Salvation can be great, or it can also be excessive or a brick. I'm trying life without it here so I can finally build a 40-card Crystal Beast deck. Apparently I do have the power in me. I promise we're almost done. The last lesson is a deep dive into how to play Rainbow Dragon effectively with Advanced Crystals. It's tricky, but with enough planning ahead, anything is possible. I learned these strategies over 1,000 duels, so you wouldn't have to. Because both playstyles, Control and Combo, use most of the same key cards, the main difference comes down to how you play them. I've gotten an Overdrive OTK even after Runic banished both of my Advanced Darks. I've even summoned it twice in the same turn, but only if I'm going second. Otherwise, my opening moves go pretty quickly. Remember, Advanced Turbo is just regular Rainbow Combo, but worse. Don't run a worse deck, play to your strengths. I see most players running more than 7 different Crystal Beasts, in case 1 or 2 get unexpectedly banished. As I mentioned in my Thunder Dragon Colossus video, one reason why I love Nemesis is that I can safely drop the 8th crystal. This bit of insurance makes the deck so much easier to pilot. No more calculating how many crystals I've gathered and which and how to avoid going over 7. Even I can struggle to make those plays quickly and perfectly, game after game, hour after hour in a big tournament. You don't have to build my way. Try your own combinations. See what works for you and the way that you think during a duel. If you do run more than 7 and accidentally get too many, you can use Cobalts to remove them from play or hide them under an Xyz monster where Rainbow Dragon's summoning condition won't consider them. If you're not aware, Rainbow Dragon and Overdrive have slightly different summoning conditions. Rainbow Dragon requires exactly 7 different Crystal Beasts among your field and graveyard. Overdrive takes any 7, including duplicates, but cannot use crystals in spell form. You'll have to get them out of the back row first. You could use the Sheep combo to special summon them, or destroy them with Tornado Dragon or Crooked Cook. You could even use Advanced Cobalt to bounce them, and then Nightmare Phoenix or something to discard them. There's also an upcoming Snake Eyes fusion, which can be made using any 2 monsters from the back row. It's not even once per turn. It's insane. I may make a dedicated video about it later, like I did with Colossus. Overdrive hits 11,000 attack if you have 7 different crystals banished, so it won't get the one-hit kill if you had to banish duplicates because you couldn't get all of your crystals out of the back row. I mean, once the Snake Eyes fusion comes out, you'll be able to discard crystals at will, so that'll practically never happen again. But there will still be times when Overdrive doesn't have an opening anyway, so instead you'll use its other game-ending effect to clear the board and summon back all those Crystal Beasts. In that case, let's hope you've planned ahead. bad. If you have to reset the field, only the basic Crystal Beast will survive being summoned off of Overdrive because you've gotten rid of Advanced Dark. To reach 8,000 damage, you will need 4 of them. So over the course of the duel, when Heart and Miracle are repeatedly destroying and placing crystals, when I'm pulling a Crystal Beast out just for fuel, I go for Sapphire and Rainbow, partly because they're the ones which Advanced Sapphire can't get, and partly so I can feed them to Overdrive, summon them back, and get lethal damage. Like, when you're guaranteed to have a surplus of crystals on your second turn, you might as well get the basic Sapphires in there too. But what if you couldn't get 4 basic crystals before going Overdrive, and so you can't reach lethal damage? What's the play now? How do you rebuild? Well, before clearing the board, try to use Advanced Cobalt to bounce stuff back to the hand, then trade itself for a new Advanced Dark. That way, after you do go Overdrive and wipe the field, you can get your field spell back, and you'll have at least, Sapphire here, and you'll have whatever Sapphire you had banished, and that's going to get you some more crystals. Let's say you end up with Ruby and another Sapphire. If you got your Advanced Dark back, you can then have the Ruby bring out another Sapphire. The Sapphire can bring back one of the Crystal Beasts who couldn't return from banishment, as Overdrive banishes 7 crystals but can only return 5. You may also have a Rainbow Bridge of the Heart, which bounces itself back to the hand. If you had Miracles in your graveyard, those will also place some additional Advanced Sapphires, getting you more crystals back from banishment. You can probably see where this is going, and by the way, you can use an Overdrive in the graveyard as one of the materials for a new Overdrive. At the very least, you can probably scrounge up a rank 4 Floodgate to keep the opponent pinned down for an extra round. But you gotta think ahead. It's all in the preparation. Are you prepared for anything? Hold on. Dog wants to play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, yes, she does. Eating the card explains the card.
Are you tired yet? I've been tired for a long time. Let's go over a bunch of other cards to try! Because advanced crystals are more useful than regular crystals, Crystal Tree is not a bad idea. I also try Rare Value sometimes. I'm not saying you should, just that if you want to slip one in for fun, I won't tell anyone. Use a sleeve. Noble Knight's Shield Bearer is an extra copy of Sapphire, either version, and it also fuels Nemesis. That's the front of the card. That's a Nemesis. I'm a little tired. Without regular Ruby or Rainbow Ruins, Crystal Conclave loses most of its usefulness. But get this. Crystal Pair? I'm joking. I'm just seeing if you're paying attention. Don't use Crystal Pairs. It's like, why do they even print that card? It's so bad! You should focus on Miracle. You can protect it by using Lord of the Heavenly Prison, another card which I can't find right now. Look, it's been a long video. We're gonna lose a few good men. It also searches for another card from your deck, which does have a self-destruct clause on it, but if that spell card bounces itself back to the hand, you can avoid that clause. If you really want to go harder, play it alongside Beast King Unleashed. This card can also bounce things, including itself and Lord of the Heavenly Prison, letting you summon him again and get another search. Yeah, if you want to get silly, we can get silly here. On the topic of columns, I am contractually obligated to mention Valence World in every video. These will push the opponent's monster back and move your monster forward. They're a little more difficult to use in Advanced Crystal Beasts because you need your own field spell once you get going, so you can only keep one of these. But just considering how their column gameplay interacts with Beast King Unleashed makes me too tired to explain anything, so imagine how confused your opponent is gonna feel. I highly recommend trying this stuff just so you can, have that experience in your head. I'm very tired, and so can you. In my other Crystal Beast videos, I have loved Revolution Synchron and Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. They're not as reliable or influential in the control strategy that I'm focusing on here, without discards, fields, and Golden Ruby Wombo combos, but still, more options for you to try with your playstyle. The only way to know whether these cards work for you is to really give them a good try. Be sure to consider the typical array of rank 4 Xyz monsters. You will also have plenty of link materials for IP Masquerena, Nightmares, whatever else. You can also use cheap Disruption to complement your control plays, but I prefer board breakers even here. And this deck does put dark monsters in the graveyard and have a large degree of control over what stays in the graveyard, so when you've got 3 darks in grave...
Something just gave me a war flashback. Why does it feel like 2009 again?
Look, I know Dad's past his prime, but he's searchable off Magnamut. I'm just saying.
He's just saying.
I'm just saying. This deck is also compatible with Dimension Shifter, although whether you should run it depends on how many friends you currently have and how many friends you're okay with still having at the end of the day. If you've made it to the end of the video, then... Advanced Dark negates the effects of any monster attacked by an ultimate crystal. This is a continuous effect, so it will negate cards like Pearly, Noir. Don't tell my mom. I'm just saying. Today's video took 7 hours to record, and I have not removed the Tear Streak mascara from the Apollo funeral bit. This was a much bigger production than I anticipated. I would like to do more videos like this. My friends would like me to not. I think a good medium would be to just put a call out there. Do you guys think I should start a Patreon? Give you guys more deck building advice, more like tailored to what you want to see? And I can maybe buy more equipment and some, like, peace of mind so I can keep working on these ridiculous videos and bring more Yu-Gi-Oh! To the masses, if that's what the masses want. So let me know what you think of that.